What's up, everyone? Kipes here with the recap of what happened in the NHL on April the 8th, 2025. Let's just start off with the ugly. I did absolutely horrible in my predictions today. So far, I have only gotten 3 correct out of 9. I'm waiting on the Golden Knights versus the Avalanche game, which is currently in overtime. I have Vegas, so go Vegas. Please give me 40% on the night. There was some crazy games in the NHL today. Some very high scoring, a couple shutouts, a ton of upsets in the long picture. Like a lot of teams that I thought were going to win and were favorites on all the betting sites. I don't bet most of the time, but it just did not go the way a lot of the betting sites thought it would. Starting off with the Islanders taking on the Predators, that game ended up being 7-6 in overtime. What a grinding game for both teams to try to pull out a win. They both get a point, but it is the Predators that end up getting the extra point. It doesn't mean anything for them in the standings, but an extra point is an extra point. The other crazy game in the NHL tonight was the Dallas Stars taking on the Vancouver Canucks in Dallas, where the Vancouver Canucks scored 3 times in the last minute. It is kind of like that one Matthew McConaughey movie, what's it called? How to Lose a Guy in 10 How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, when he has to go get his fake girlfriend a drink and misses the end of the game where tons of stuff happens. If your girlfriend made you go get a drink in this game in the final minute, you missed out on a ton. Or if you left with a minute to go to beat the traffic, you missed out on a ton of hockey because you missed 3 goals and you missed overtime, which is just devastating for Dallas Stars fans to give up a point when you're trying to chase some players in the stand or some teams in the standings. Some other games that happened tonight, the Leafs took on the Panthers trying to secure that top spot in the Atlantic Division. That did not happen. The Leafs, they lose 3-1 to the Panthers. Kind of embarrassing. The Panthers, they did an exceptional job all night blocking off the neutral zone. Made it extremely hard for the Leafs to enter the zone. The Panthers, they added one of their goals as an empty net, so it was 2-1, but 3-1 the final, and they have to wait till tomorrow to try to do something else when they play the Lightning. The Carolina Hurricanes are limping to the finish line. They lost 3-0 to the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres, they actually have been doing very good as of late, but it is the Hurricanes that are kind of scaring me right now as they head into the playoffs. Right now, I don't know who they would be playing if the playoffs started today, but I would second guess picking the Hurricanes right now over anybody due to the fact that they aren't playing very good hockey whatsoever. Another insane game in the NHL tonight, the Bruins taking on the New Jersey Devils. I picked the Devils to win because I thought it was going to be a landslide in the favor of the I got that incorrect before, and my wife called me out on it. The New Jersey Devils. The Bruins, they win 7-2 in this game. Fraser Minten traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs at the trade deadline in the Brandon Carlo deal, but he gets his first goal as a Boston Bruin. A lot of people on Twitter today, a lot of my buddies from the Black and Gold podcast, saying how much they really like this kid and how the third line center spot is going to be a tight race in training camp in this fall. Another upset that happened in this game, the Blue Jackets taking on the Senators. I wouldn't call it a crazy upset because there are 2 teams that are neck and neck in the Eastern Conference. The Senators definitely having the upper hand in this, but the Blue Jackets, their season is pretty much donezo when it comes to playoff hopes. The Montreal Canadiens, they won tonight. We'll get to that in a second. But the Ottawa Senators, they lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight 5-2. They need to get their crap in order before they head into the playoffs. Even though they lost tonight, they clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2017. It is nice to see the Senators back in the playoffs, but I am petrified if it would be the Leafs taking them on in the first round. I don't know if it will be, but we shall see. Now I get to cover a game that I predicted correctly. Woohoo! The Penguins taking on the Blackhawks. The Penguins, they shut out the Blackhawks 5-0 in this game, dominating from start to end. Let's talk about another one I got right. I'm leaving the right ones to the end. I predicted that the Utah Hockey Club would beat the Seattle Kraken. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. It ended up being 7-1 for the Utah Hockey Club. Very good performance from this team. They aren't going to make the playoffs this year, but they did push for most of the year. They had a lot of ups and downs. Karel Vejmelka, he needs to be applauded. He's been playing so much as of late and been playing pretty darn good hockey. The Montreal Canadiens were taking on the Detroit Red Wings at home in Montreal. My cousin was at the game. I asked him for a prediction because well, something different. But he said 4-3 overtime win for the Montreal Canadiens. It ended up being 4-1. Just regulation win for the Montreal Canadiens. They do not care how they got those 2 points. They are now at a 97% chance of making the playoffs. They are 8 or so points ahead of the New York Rangers. It is done. It is done. We have our Eastern Conference playoff teams. Two Canadian teams in the wild card spots. Awesome to see. Maybe the Senators can catch the Panthers. Maybe the Senators can catch the Lightning. Doubtful, but it could happen. We shall see. But the Montreal Canadiens, they have been so impressive. This was their 5th or 6th win in a row, maintaining that or controlling that second wildcard spot, not letting any team have a sniff to get in. I was calling them out halfway through the season, kind of like in the late December, early January period, saying they were doing very good, and then they crashed. They lost like 5 or 6 in a row, and I said there is no chance that they can make the playoffs on this streak. And it didn't look very good for a long time, but then they've been very up and down all season, and right now they are hitting the stride at the perfect time. It is so nice to see all these Canadian teams make the playoffs. Let's hope my hometown team, the Calgary Flames, can make the playoffs. They play tomorrow, and then they play the Wild at home Thursday night. That is going to be in must-watch television if the Flames win tomorrow against the Quacky Ducks. Well, the Vegas Golden Knights didn't do me any favors. It went into a shootout. No Vegas Golden Knight player wanted to score in this one. Only one Colorado Avalanche player wanted to score in this one. Charlie Coyle, the third shooter for the Colorado Avalanche, scores the game-winning goal, puts it past the goaltender Akira Schmid. Wedgwood is the Colorado goalie. But that is another one I got wrong. That was a very tight overtime, lots of chances either way. I don't know what else to say. The Avalanche, they're an extremely good team, and they might just have to play Dallas. They might just have to play Vegas. It's going to be tough. That Western Conference first round is going to be banana lands, and it's not going to be fun for whoever plays whoever. Even if the Wild get in, I don't see them being an easy out. Even if the Flames make it in, I don't see them being an easy out. The Blues are most definitely not going to be an easy out. So the playoffs are so seriously talented and stacked this year, it's not going to be an easy out for anyone. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. I'm becoming one of those guys to tell you to like and subscribe everything, but that's okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Tomorrow, I think there's about 5 or so games. The Flames play, the Leafs play. That's all that matters to me. But we'll see you then for the predictions mid-afternoon-ish. But thank you for watching this video. Take care.